Hi, I'm Gabriel Bremer, chef co-owner of Salt's Restaurant in Cambridge, Mass. And we are here in Canterbury, New Hampshire, literally standing inside of Salt's farm. And I'm about to do a demo featuring items straight from our farm, plus surrounding neighbors' gardens, including some beautiful array of edible flowers and herbs. And I'm going to prepare for you my inspired dish from the garden's harvest today, a crab cannelloni with heirloom tomato and wild greens and edible flowers. First part for doing this is I'm going to make our tomato soup, if you will. Very simply, box grater. We're going to take our fresh tomatoes, just grate them. This is going to make a very fresh tomato soup or tomato sauce, much as if you were making Spanish gazpacho. So as you see, very, very simple. So to this, a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of fresh cracked pepper. This is sherry vinegar, just a tiny bit, not too much. And some extra virgin olive oil. For me personally, I also tend to like Spanish olive oils, a little fruitier, complement the heirloom tomatoes quite nicely. So, this is going to become the tomato aspect for our dish. I did this first because I want the salt and the oils and vinegars start to work with the tomatoes, bring out the flavors, and let it become a really full-flavored great sauce. So next part for the dish, our cannelloni. Now, traditionally cannelloni is pasta. We want to keep this in a fresh summer dish. So this is a very large daikon radish. So I'm just going to quickly peel it. This is going to add a nice little bit of heat, a little bit of crispness. And just for ease, cut that in half. So, I have a very fancy restaurant-style mandolin at home. It's very common. You can find the smaller Japanese mandolins, smaller plastic. They're very easy to use. Just be careful with your fingers. So I'm putting this on the smallest setting I can get. All right, so we're getting a nice thin sheet. I want it to be slightly translucent. You're going to see why in a moment. So, that's going to be plenty. And just want to lay them out, slightly overlapping. Just like so. And I'm just going to trim them up slightly. This is going to make our end product just a little bit nicer. Okay, so for the crab salad, I have some beautiful Maine peaky-toe crab, nice lump meat crab. And always important when you get your crab meat, no matter how good your fishmonger is, you want to pick through it because there's always going to be little remnants of shell in there. So you just want to be very careful because take all your time, make a wonderful dish for your guests, and a little shell can ruin it. So to the crab meat, I have a small brunoise, which is just a very small dice of some fresh carrots that we just harvested, literally several feet away from me. That goes into the crab meat. Also some leeks, same thing, very small dice, just harvested from right next to me. Tiny bit of salt, not too much salt because the crab is naturally fairly salty. A little bit of fresh ground pepper. And a little bit of mayonnaise. Not too much, just enough to help bind it together. And we're just going to mix this together. Okay, so next we're going to take our radish that we've previously cut. I've laid it out on a little piece of saran wrap, plastic wrap, just to ease the process of rolling it. Now what I'm going to do is I have a beautiful array of beautiful edible flowers that are so lovingly grown for us by one of our neighbors up in Canterbury. Her name is Mindy. So I have a couple little bachelor buttons, some roses, some assorted herbs. So, next step, we're going to take a little bit of our crab salad. We're going to place it right on top, right at the edge. And this is going to be much like if you were making sushi. We're just going to carefully start to roll this. Just tuck it in slightly. The plastic wrap helps guide this. And I'm just going to roll this right off onto the board. You can see from slicing it thin, we can see some of those beautiful flowers through here. So, to plate this dish, we're going to take some of our heirloom tomato, place it right in the bottom of the bowl. You can put as much or as little of this as you want. That's completely up to you. Just going to trim up the ends of our cannelloni. Place that in the bowl. Then I just have a little pastry brush, some olive oil. Just going to brush the top of it. Then we're going to take the rest of our edible herbs. These are chive blossoms. Going to use a little bit of those. These are kind of cool. These are garlic chive flower. This dish is truly all about the freshness of the farm, local ingredients, really the true essence of farm-to-table cuisine. We utilize a lot of heirloom varietals in our garden. This is called bronze fennel. In the fennel family, but it's used just as an herb. You won't use a bulb like a traditional fennel. These are little tiny beautiful nasturtium leaves. These are the kind of things that we love to use at the restaurant that we're very fortunate to have Mindy for, because if I tried to use a regular purveyor, they would probably hang up on me if I told them I want a dime-sized nasturtium leaf. These are the nasturtium flowers. And a few beautiful little cucumber flowers. Dragon bean flowers. And lastly, I have a fun little herb that I enjoy quite a bit, which many of you probably have growing in your driveway or in your yard, called purslane. And this grows wild all over the farm. Has a nice crunch to it. The leaves are sort of fat and meaty, but adds more texture to the dish, much like the cooling effect of a cucumber would. That's going to be the last thing on there. And I'm just going to give an additional, just a little drizzle of olive oil. And that's our crab cannelloni with heirloom tomato, wild herbs, and edible flowers. So who wants lunch?